Hello, it's Markham Torch here from Markham 3D, and in this series we're going to be creating the Tie Interceptor from Star Wars. Now I've already found myself a blueprint, so I'm going to click and drag that from my file explorer and place that into Blender in an empty space, so you can't put it on top of an object. Let's delete the default cube and let's just get rid of that. For now I'm going to delete the camera and delete the light. So selecting our plane, I'm going to press Alt R to reset the rotation, Alt G to reset the location, and now we can move forward. So let's now line this up on our X, Y, and Z, or on our front, side, and top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this with a cube originally. I'm going to do Shift A, and let's add in a cube. From here, I'm going to select our plane, and I'm going to press numpad 7 to go into top view. And this is our top view image, so I'm going to rotate that by 90 degrees, and we'll make that a minus 90 degrees. Because when I press numpad 1 to go into front view, we can see that this will be the front of the ship. Press Z to go into wireframe mode. I'm going to press G and kind of let's line this up so it's roughly in the center of the sphere. And we'll check that out in a sec. If I scale this now, we'll see that it scales from the origin point, but I kind of want to scale from the 3D cursor. So I can come up to the top here and 3D cursor. Now if I scale, boop, that's fine. So let's kind of get this about right. Let's go G. Move it over a smidgen, then we can expand, shrink that. I think that looks pretty good. So let's just go GZ on the plane and move that down. Now I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate that, and then press numpad 3, let's go into side, rotate X 90 degrees, Y 90 degrees. Let's go GZ, and I'm just going to slide that up, and we'll line this up into the middle. So about there looks like the middle. Let's scale this up by Z. Yes, I'm fairly happy with that. Now let's finish off by doing the front view. So I'm going to grab this. Where's our plane? It's already over there. Let's go Shift D to duplicate again. Rotate Z 90 degrees. And we'll do minus this time. GX. Let's kind of scale that so it's sitting roughly in the middle again. Scale on the X. There we go. That's looking good. So if I go numpad 3, beautiful, numpad 7, top view. So funnily enough, we can see that this image here, where the box is actually lined up on the edge of the wings, looks fine. But if I come to front view, we can see that it's a little bit too big. So actually, let's move this image up. I didn't see that it's not in the center. There we go. And we'll use the front view as our reference, not the top view, just because we'll have extra detail. And actually, this reference here, these panels actually stick out of the ship. I always thought they went in, but looking at other reference photos, we can see that it actually sticks out. So now that we've got all this lined up, I'm just going to move this plane back a little bit. Let's go GY. Now I can select all these, and there's probably a good chance I'm actually going to move them eventually. So if we come over here into the empties, I'm going to come up here into the filter, turn on the selection tool, and then if I turn these off, I can no longer select these planes. They are stuck there, you little beauty. So let's select that cube, delete, Shift A, let's add in a UV sphere. I'm going to press Tab to go into edit mode, rotate X 90 degrees. And now if I press numpad 1, we can see that we've already got that kind of shape of the glass in there. So let's now scale this down so it's about right, so it's about the size there. Let's go numpad 7, that's pretty much in the middle. And we'll go numpad 3, that's not too bad as well. Lovely. So let's go with that. We're just going to be blocking out for now. From here, I'm going to do tab back into object mode. Let's go Shift A and we'll add in a cylinder. Let's go tab into edit mode and scale that in with S. Rotate Y 90 degrees. And we'll bring that over there. I'm going to scale that in. We can see that we're still scaling from the 3D cursor. Let's come up to the top and we'll change that to the medium point. Let's go GX. I'm just going to plop that about here-ish because this bit in here is a cylinder and this bit here as well. So if we kind of look at, let's just fix that up so I can go GY, I'll move that back just so we can use this image up here. Okay. And if we have a look here, we can see that this bit here is a cylinder. This is a cylinder. I'm going to say this bit in here as well is a cylinder. It kind of flanges up into the ship, but we can do some creativity on that one as well. So back into numpad 1, let's now grab this. I'm going to press G to the X till we get to that point. Now I'm going to press E to extrude, right click to put that back in place. Let's scale it, and let's do another E to extrude. And then I'm just going to scale it a bit more. So now we've kind of got this, the flange that we were talking about, where it goes up and then out like so. Back into front view. We can do this two ways. So for instance, I can come here, I can extrude and go up again. What I'm going to do is press X to bring that across to about here. Let's now E to extrude, right click to put that back in place, scale that in, E to extrude again. Now the question is this bit here a sphere? So let's see, a cylinder. We can see that yes, we've got a bit of a cylinder in there again. So what we'll do is come back into that front view. Let's go G to the X, here-ish, E to extrude, scale, and then we'll push that into the wing there. Now for these bits here, I can press here with Alt R to add in an edge loop. Let's press number 3 to go into face selection, Alt left click to get that edge loop, E to extrude, I'm going to put that right click, put it back in place. Now I can scale, however we see it scales across all 3 axes. I don't want it to scale along the X axis. So from here I can press Shift X, and there we go. So it's only scaling along the X and the Y. And we'll do that again, Alt R to add an edge loop, Alt R to add another edge loop. Where's the piece? I think, whoops, a little bit more over, about there. Number 3, Alt left click, E to extrude, scale, Shift X. There we go. How's that looking? That's looking pretty good to me. Once again, we're just blocking out. Now I'm going to go numpad 3, and now let's do the wing. Shift A, I'm going to add in a plane to start off with. Let's go tab into edit mode, rotate X 90 degrees, sorry, Y 90 degrees. Let's scale that in. And like I said before, these panels here are actually off the wing. It's not indented in the wing, but they're actually off the wing. So let's start lining this up. GY, we're going to go here. Let's scale that on the Z axis. And actually what we might do is put Alt R to put an edge loop in here, and then right click to put that back in center. Let's select this edge, delete vertices. So now we've only got this section. What I can do now is come over into modifiers, add modifier, mirror modifier, and we've got the X axis mirrored, which is, it's still there, but we also want to do Z axis. So now if I were to grab this over and go here, there we go. And we can see now we're doing the wings as well. Why not, while we're here, let's select our wing attachment, I guess, add modifier, let's go mirror modifier, and we've now got it on both sides. So from here, let's select this edge, let's go G, Y, there we go. And because we can see, if we come into front view, that it curves, I'm going to guess that the center area between here and here is where the bend is. So now if I were to go extrude to Z, and I put Alt R to put an edge loop in there, that's where it's roughly going to bend. So let's grab this section, E to extrude along the Y axis to about probably here-ish. From here, let's grab all this, E to extrude along the Z axis. Let's go into front view. Because we've got this top edge selected, let's go G, X, and we'll plop it in about here. Let's just grab everything and move that across so it's in the center. And then we'll come back in. Let's just select these vertices. Yep. G to the X. There we go. I think we can probably move these ones as well a little bit more. G to the X. So maybe something like that. Actually, no, we're wrong. So let's move so that this bit here is in the center. I'm going to press C for our selection tool and middle mouse to deselect all them. And we'll go GX. Somewhere about there, I'd say. And I think what we could probably do is maybe delete edge. Where's my delete edge loop? There we go. So now we know that that is one straight piece in there. However, we've got this section in here. Let's kind of line that up. So I'm going to do Alt R, and I'm going to put where the kind of the bend is. So that's where it's going to be. Now here I can go GZ and line that up, but this is going to be wrong because now if I go into front view, we can see it's off kilter. Now if I go Control Z and just undo that, I can press GG and it'll move along the edge. And that's what we want to do. So let's go into side view with numpad 3, GG. I'm just going to kind of line that one up. And then with this one, let's go GG, and bring that to about there. Lovely, that works out really well. From here, I'm just going to go G, Y, and plop that to about over there. You know what, let's leave that. I mean, we're using the blueprints as a guesstimation, but I'm more than happy with that. So if we have a look, the shape of the ship's already coming along. Let's kind of just finish off this bit in this video. So let's select everything. And what I'm actually going to do is come into Add Modifier. Let's go into Solidifier, and we'll see what this looks like. If we go thickness, we want the offset to be 0 and enter, because now that it's going +1 and -1, or +0.5, -0.5. Thickness, let's increase our thickness, and we want it to be about that thick. Now I think as well, the ship increases in thickness as we move down, but that should be fine. Let's leave it as is, and we might come back and fix it. Actually, we probably will come back and fix it. But I think we can actually get away with it, because I think these are the panels here along the edge. There'll be a greeble in here. There'll be a panel on the inside. If we have a look at our photo, there's paneling on the inside. And then in here, this will be a whole bunch of jargon. So one last part, so we've got 3 parts at the moment. The last part is this hexagon piece on the end. This is going to be really simple. Let's go Shift A, add in a mesh, and we'll add in a circle. Come down to the bottom here. We're going to change Add Circle. We're going to go from vertices 32. We're going to put that as 8. There we go. Let's press Tab to go into edit mode. Let's go into front view, rotate X 90 degrees, and I'm just going to move that all the way over. Now if we come into side view, we can see that it's actually not lining up correctly. It should be rotated around a bit. So this is how we're going to roughly work it out. I'm going to rotate, and up here in the top left, you'll see kind of like the rotate option, well, how much we're rotating. And I know by maths, it should be about 22.5. So if I go 22.5, boop, that should be lined up. Is my maths correct? 45, 22.5, yes. Let's kind of scale that in a bit. Let's go GX. I'm just going to, oops, sorry, GY. Let's line that up. There we go. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Let's press 2 to go into edge mode. I'm going to select these 2 faces, and we'll press F to create a face. Let's do edge loop. Whoop, don't want to do an edge loop. Let's select all them. Press F. There we go. F. And then from here, what I'm going to do is extrude. There we go. Let's line these pieces up. GX. So we're going to have something like that. And we can see that this side, it lines up nicely, doesn't it? Yep, this side here lines up nicely. But we can see from here, if I just go GX, the top and the bottom are actually smaller. So we got to go with however we want to interpret it. Last bit, let's do probably bring this over as well. Shift D X. I'm going to bring that in there. I'm going to scale that down, scale it a bit on the X, GX, so something like that. And how's that looking? So there we go. That's good. So this is looking nice. In here, we can see that, yeah, this whole piece continues. So it's all one big piece, but we also do have a box in there. So let's just fix this section up in here. I think we will put another plate that sits in there, but we need to add in this box. So let's just grab this one. Let's go Shift D, G, Y. I'm just gonna grab it like that. Let's grab this edge, go into front view. Let's go into wireframe, GX, bring that across like so. Control L. And then we can come into the side view. We can see our weapon here. Let's go E to extrude. Something like that. Let's grab this face. GX, bring that in. Nice. Let's kind of crack on with this now. So let's work on this cockpit. Let's just get these windows looking nice. And then we'll continue on to these wings. And we're just going to slowly build as we go. So from here, what I'm actually going to do first off, because if I come into front view and just start selecting faces, I could be actually selecting the back faces. So let's go into numpad 7. I'm going to press B for box select, select all these, And then I'm going to press H to hide them because I don't want to see them right now. Back into front view. And now we can come in and start doing all this jazz. Let's start putting in the edge loops where we're going to be cutting it. So I'm going to do Alt R. I'm going to put an edge loop here. Alt R will put, we could almost get away with this one. Let's just maybe GG on that one just to expand it out a little bit. And I think that's fine in there. Let's maybe go GG on this one. And then I'm going to actually add in an extra loop through there. Now with these pieces, how there's separated windows, let's go into face mode. I'm going to press C and select kind of these 4 or these 8. I'm going to skip 4, then select these. Come on. There we go. There we go. And this bit up in here. Let's press I and then we'll bring it in a bit. Now, because I want to kind of keep it similar, I'm going to do 0.01. That's a little bit too much. Let's go 0.005. Yep, that looks nice. And then we're going to repeat that process on the next ones here. So let's grab all these, blop, and these. So I'm using C to bring up the selection tool. And I've grabbed an extra one in there. Let's press I to do our inset, 0.005. And we know that they match. Now, next thing, let's come back in and we'll select all these. There we go. There we go. Come on. Almost there. Just being gentle. And now let's select our inner circle in here and right click to get out of that. Now what I could do is I can press E to extrude and they all extrude kind of like in one plane. That's not what we really want. I want them to go in individually. So let's come up into our pivot point and change to individual origins. And now when I press extrude, you can see that it goes in on the kind of like the average plane. Now I don't want to deselect everything just yet. What I'm going to do is create a new material and let's go 1, 2. Let's create a new material here and we'll call this glass. And then I'm going to click assign. So now that this glass material is assigned to this section, let's kind of block out the colors a little bit. Let's go base color will be black. Let's give the specularity all the way up to give it all that shine, the roughness all the way down, and we'll come down into viewport display and I will make that black. Because then that way when we go tab into edit mode and we go into solid mode, we can see that we've got black. Now it's kind of looking yuck at the moment. It's all flat faces. What we can actually do is press right click and we can shade smooth. However, this bit all looks yuck now. But what we can do is come over into our object data, normals and auto smooth. And then we go, that looks pretty good. Let's do the same for here. If we select that, right click, shade smooth, we can see that everything's shaded smooth as we've been told. And go auto smooth. There we go. Look at that. Spicy, spicy, spicy. Now let's do some more blocking on the wings here. I want to do these parts at the back, or these kind of like flanges. So what we're going to do is Shift S, cursor toward origin. Let's bring that back in. Let's go Shift A, add in a plane. Tab, rotate X. There we go. Let's kind of bring this over. And we could do mirror Z again. So let's do that. Let's go GZ, sorry, Y, GZ. There we go. Let's bring that over like so. I'm going to bring this down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this edge. Let's bring that over because I'm going to line this up with the very first kind of start of the bend. And let's go E to extrude. And then we can go GG. Select that, E. And then we can go GG. And we'll bring that down. So now we've kind of got that curve happening. Let's go GZ and we'll bring that up like so. So that's a nice looking flange in there. Let's do Control L. We can kind of see it here. So let's go G, Y, bring that over. E to extrude to about here-ish. And what's that looking like? So we were actually looking at the wrong flange. But that's fine. We can always come back and we'll fix that up in a sec. Oh, actually, no, we can see, yeah, that this one here is narrow. What have I done? Individual origins? No. We want medium point, scale Y. So it's going to be a thin one. And then we're going to Shift D and duplicate that. Bring that to about there. Let's go GZ, bring that up. line this up roughly to about there. Let's scale on the Z, scale on the Y axis. And for some reason, did that scale correctly? Sure did. And we can see that now we've kind of got this two-step flange. There we go, looking very nice indeed. Let's now just kind of add in that mirror modifier that we were talking about on the X and the Y, oh sorry, on the Z. Lovely, that's looking good. Now the big problem is with mirroring, we can do all these parts separately, but I mean, we could do it all in one piece. So maybe that's what we'll do. Let's get rid of the X axis and we have to click on this drop down and hit apply. And there we go. So now it's all one object. Let's do this little flange that's sitting like this way in here. So how are we going to do that one? Let's just do it how we did it before. Let's go plane. But this time we won't do any mirroring. Let's just go scale on the Y, scale on the X. I mean, we won't do any mirroring on like X or Y. There we go. Something probably like so. Let's grab these, bring that over. Whereabouts does this flange go? Let's just hide this piece because we don't need to see it. Let's come back into here so we can see it comes about to all the way over here actually. So let's go GX. I can't really see. Let's just, whoops, I had the wrong thing selected. Now I've only got one, that back edge selected, but I can press Control L and it will select everything that is linked. So let's go GX. GZ to bring that up. Let's go E to extrude, something like that. Let's put our thing in there, scale on the Z. We can grab this. Sorry, we gotta use our box select, scale on the Z, something like that. And we can go G to the X, push that in. Now if I do Alt H and bring that back, that's looking not too bad. But I have a feeling that that is wrong. This face here should probably go in, so I can scale on the Y axis and bring it in. Does it go that far? Yep, so it stops right before this one. I actually even think that this seems a little bit too thick. I don't think I got that one right. Yeah, let's kind of maybe grab this edge in here. Whoops, not that one. This one. There we go. And I can just go G to the X, bring that in a smidgen. How's that looking? I think what we could do is maybe select this edge, scale in on the Y axis as well. That's not too shabby. We can see kind of, if we look at the image over here, there seems to be a bit of a plate on top of that one. Yeah, let's come back to that. We'll fix that one up. Let's go select the flanges. Let's add a modifier and we'll just add that X mirror modifier. Let's do this section up here now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cheat. Let's go Control L, we'll duplicate that, Shift D. Let's rotate Y 180 degrees. And then from here, let's just go G, X, rotate X 90 degrees, scale that one in. And where does that one go? So that one actually comes out really far. Scale on the X, G to the X. So something like that. Yep, that's looking pretty good to me. And then we've kind of got this mini flange, a very small one, comparative, just up here. So we could probably do the same thing. Let's go Shift D, rotate X 90 degrees. And we'll scale that in. Scale that on the X axis. Z, there we go. And then we can kind of bring that up, scale on the Z a little bit more. Nice. And if we have a look at this image, looking at this section in here, this octagon, we've kind of goes on a bit of an angle and then meets up with this piece. So let's work on that. I'm going to grab this section here. Let's E to extrude. And then I'm going to scale that in. Maybe this one's a little bit too thick, but you know what? I actually kind of like it like that. Let's select this section, scale on the Z. Whoops, actually, maybe we'll just select these two faces in here. Come back in solid and let's scale on the Z. There we go, something like that. That's looking quite nice. I'm a fan. All right, so we can see that we've done a whole bunch more stuff. Obviously, we're going to come back through and add that greebling in there. Let's put the smooth modifier on there. So right click and shade smooth, come to object data, auto smooth. There we go, that's not too bad. Looking at this picture here, we can see that this turret section is actually more, I don't even know what you would call it, almost like a diamond shape. So let's select this bit here, Alt R to put in that edge loop, and we'll bring in these sections here, select these edges, come on, scale on the Z, something like that. Yep, that looks right to me. And then what I can do is select this face, I can press I to do an inset, and then we can do E to extrude. There we go. And we could put these little dots in there now, or circles. Let's come into here, tab. I'm going to go Shift S and cursor to selected. Let's put our cursor right there. Shift A to add in a new mesh, and we'll just put in a cylinder. Rotate X 90 degrees, and we'll scale that in. And let's go G, Z, hold control, Shift D, G, Z, hold control. And then we'll grab these two faces, press I to do an inset, and E to extrude. There we go. So that's, yeah, that's matching up pretty good. We got some little air vents here that we'll come back and make. I think with this here, let's maybe E to extrude again, and we'll scale that down. Not too bad. I'm actually fairly happy with that. Let's just do a little bit more blocking before we get into the finer details. Let's select our cockpit here, Shift D. Now I can Alt H and unhide that. What I'm actually going to do is select the backside. There we go. Go back into object mode, Shift S, cursor to world origin, because we know that that is the center of our sphere. Let's select this, Shift D to duplicate, and right click to put that back in place. Let's rotate this piece around the origin so it sits on top, because we want to kind of make this manhole cover. So we need to come back up into here, our pivot point, change it to 3D cursor. Let's go rotate X 90 degrees. Now it's sitting on top, lovely. Let's go GZ to move it up a smidgen, E to extrude, and we'll bring that back down. And then I'm just going to delete that face on the inside. So that's coming along nicely. Coming to here, we can see that on this image, that there's kind of like another circle that goes around the cockpit, which is kind of probably just framing. Let's do Control R. Actually, no, let's do Alt left click around this edge loop. I'm going to press Control B to do a bevel, but then I'm going to use the mouse wheel to scroll up to add one more line. And let's go left click on that. I'm going to press Control numpad minus to shrink our selection, and then let's press Alt S so it scales inwards. So something like that. So now we've kind of given that a bit of a break. From here, what I want to do is I'm actually wanting to pop this out a little bit more. So I'm just going to press left click and select this center section. Control numpad plus to expand our selection all the way to the edge. That's not going to work. Dang nabbit. Let's undo that then, if you want to be like that. And maybe we'll just select that. Nah. Fine. What we can do is select this edge here, press V to rip, so now it's a separate piece. Control L, and then I'm just going to move it forward a smidgen. Actually, no. I don't want to move it forward. I want to leave this line where it is. And we'll go into side view. And let's go into box select, and I'm going to deselect all that with middle mouse button. So that now when I move it, we still have that kind of, it's still connected to the cockpit. So I'm just going to move it out a smidgen, and then I'm just going to scale it up. It's scaling from the center of the circle. Actually, that's not too bad. Let's go with that. There we go. So it really looks like that cockpit is actually standing out. Now we've got the base of the ship. Let's leave the video there now. There are 3 more videos to this series that'll be coming out on Wednesday, Friday, and the following Monday. So please make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with it. I will also be releasing this file for free over on Gumroad, and there'll be a link in the description on Wednesday's video on how to download that. So once again, if you haven't, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Help me hit that goal of 25,000 before the end of the year, and I will see you on Wednesday.